My wife disappeared without any warning. She sent a single text. "We're in Hawaii. Take care of the kids." Just like that. No goodbye, no explanation. I was in the school parking lot, waiting to pick up our 5 kids from their after-school program, something she normally handled with military precision. Her texts used to come non-stop. "Pick up Tyler at 6:10. Leia needs her piano book. Emma can't have peanuts." But that day, nothing. Dead silence. Not a single message. Until I turned off the car and my phone buzzed. One sentence. No punctuation. No context. "We're in Hawaii. Take care of the kids." At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. Or a joke. I stared at it, blinking hard. Then I looked up and saw them, our children, walking toward the car with tired faces and heavy backpacks. Madison was supposed to be the one picking them up that day. "Where's Mom?" Tyler, our 10-year-old, asked as he climbed into the back seat. I lied. She had something come up. "I'm here instead." My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. As soon as we got home, I called her. Once, twice, again and again. Voicemail. No reply. No texts. No calls. Just silence. I kept trying that night and into the morning. Eventually, I wrote, "Who is we? What's going on? What about the kids? Are you safe? Please talk to me, Maddie." No response. Days turned into weeks. I took over everything. Breakfasts, ponytails, lunches, bedtime stories, doctor appointments. I reached out to her mom, her sister. Nobody knew a thing. Her workplace said she'd taken unpaid leave. Quietly, deliberately. She hadn't vanished. She had left. Planned it. And something in me shifted. The old me, the one who depended on her for the structure of our life, faded. I realized she wasn't coming back. I couldn't wait for her anymore. I had 5 kids who needed a parent. So I decided, I was going to step up. I was going to build a life without her. But before I moved forward, I had to understand why. I grabbed my laptop. I had set up all our tech, including her phone and computer. Everything was backed up to the cloud we shared. I started digging, through emails, photos, anything that might give me a clue. And there it was. A flight confirmation. 2 tickets. One in her name. One in his. Ethan Dano. The name hit me like a punch to the chest. Ethan was once my business partner. He'd stood beside me at our wedding. Held my newborn son in his arms. Smiled across dinner tables at my children. And now? He was the we in that text. She hadn't just run. She'd run asterisk to him star. Left her own family to be with someone who had once been family to us both. It wasn't just betrayal. It was abandonment on every level. But I didn't yell. I didn't call her or confront him. That's what they'd expect, a man falling apart. I stayed quiet. Focused. I went to see a lawyer. Not to file for divorce. Not yet. I needed to protect the kids. I showed her the text, the flight receipts, the silence. "She's toast," my lawyer said without hesitation. "You have everything. Full custody, emergency orders, it's all in reach." Good. Then I met with a financial advisor. I began shifting our funds into accounts under my name. I kept receipts, documented every expense, groceries, school supplies, therapy, childcare. Everything was legitimate and above board. I cancelled her cards. Froze the joint accounts. If she wanted out, then she wouldn't get to dip back in. I didn't talk badly about her to the kids. I just kept going. I stayed calm, even as I unraveled inside. I let time work in my favor. And it did. 3 weeks later, just as I'd settled into the routine and the kids had stopped asking where she was every hour, she reached out. My phone buzzed early that Tuesday. A FaceTime call from Madison. I didn't answer. Another call. Then texts. "Where are the kids? Why won't you answer? I'm back. We need to talk. This is crazy. We have to co-parent." I read each one slowly, letting them settle like ash. She thought she could vanish, then walk back in like it was nothing. But I had changed. And she was going to learn that the hard way. "You're hurting them by keeping me from seeing them." That's what she said. And just like that, the gaslighting began. Panic in her voice, the fear dawning that her little fantasy was collapsing. But I hadn't just waited around. I'd moved forward, without her. So when I finally answered her video call, her sunburnt face filled the screen, frantic and furious, eyes darting like she'd lost control of the script. "Where are the kids?" she demanded. I didn't flinch. "At school. The same place they've been every day for the last 5 weeks while you were busy lounging with Ethan." She recoiled. "You don't get to talk to me like that. I'm their mother." "You were," I said flatly. "But real mothers don't disappear with a text message and no goodbye." Her voice cracked. "I didn't abandon them. I needed time for myself." I looked her straight in the eye. "Congratulations. You took your break. And I took everything else." I ended the call and waited for whatever came next. The next morning, tires squealed into the driveway. A sharp knock rattled the door. No warning, no message, just her, showing up like nothing happened. I opened the door slowly. She stood there in a white sleeveless blouse, tangled hair with designer sunglasses perched on top, trying to mask chaos with false calm. "Where are the kids?" she asked, clipped and tense. "At school," I replied evenly. "Where they belong." She tried to step past me. I didn't let her. "You don't live here anymore, Madison." Her nostrils flared. "What's wrong with you? I go away for a few weeks and now I'm a stranger." "You are a stranger," I said quietly. "You left. You treated me like the help. You vanished without a word to your children." "I needed to breathe," she insisted. "I needed space." "No. You needed approval to run off to Hawaii with another man. And you didn't get it." She stood there, mouth quivering. "You can't keep them from me. I'm their mother." "I already am keeping them from you," I said. "And you'll be hearing from my lawyer today." She blinked. "You got a lawyer?" I didn't respond. I handed her an envelope instead, documents outlining her absence, text messages, financial records, proof of emergency custody. She flipped through the pages, hands shaking. I didn't mean to stay away that long. Ethan said it was just a quick trip and then, we lost track of time." I laughed once, bitter and hollow. "You lost 5 weeks." Tears welled in her eyes. "I want to fix this." "You mean Ethan left you?" I asked. Her silence was all the answer I needed. "You chose him over your children. And now that he's gone, you want to rewind?" "No, Madison. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice." I closed the door. I heard her collapse on the porch, sobbing. But I didn't open it again. That evening, my lawyer Sarah called. She just tried to file for joint custody. But she didn't know we beat her to it. The judge is reviewing everything. With what we've got, she doesn't have a leg to stand on. I looked around our quiet home. The kids' drawings were still on the fridge. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was peaceful. For the first time in weeks, I let myself smile. The fallout was quick. Within days, the court granted me full temporary custody. Madison was restricted to supervised visits. Her little escape had raised serious concerns with child services, not just abandonment, but emotional harm. The judge didn't stop there. Therapy, fitness assessments, and a hard look at her ability to parent. She showed up at the first hearing like she was headed to a fashion shoot, all polish and posturing. But when the judge described her actions as reckless parental abandonment, her confidence crumbled in real time. I didn't need to say much. I let the evidence do the talking, the paper trail, the absence, the silence. She did all the damage herself. It only got worse when she tried to show up unannounced at the kids' school. She was escorted off the premises while Tyler watched from the lunchroom, frozen. Word spread fast. The PTA chat lit up that night. Photos from her vacation, drinks, yacht parties, Ethan kissing her neck, suddenly surfaced everywhere. A neighbor mom, someone I trusted, dropped a brutal message. She ditched her family to play girlfriend in Maui, and now wants to pretend like nothing happened? Not in this community. Madison deleted all her accounts that same night. But the internet doesn't forget. Then came the twist, a call from Ethan's wife star. Yes, wife. Turns out Madison didn't know she was the side piece. Lillian found the evidence: bills, hotel stays, messages. She told me she was filing for divorce and naming Madison in the lawsuit. Alienation of affection. Still valid in our state. She offered to testify for my custody case. Let's burn them both, she said with a tired smile. And just like that, I wasn't fighting alone. A month later, Madison returned to court. But the woman who walked in looked nothing like the one who'd left for paradise. Her clothes hung loose. Her makeup couldn't hide the breakdown. And the chair beside her? Ethan's? Empty. Lillian, however, took the stand. Calm, clear, merciless. She presented emails, texts, even a letter Ethan wrote begging her not to ruin him publicly. She told the judge the affair had started long before the trip. That Ethan lied to their own son just to sneak away with Madison. The judge listened, expression like stone. She looked at Madison and spoke slowly, decisively. You showed an alarming pattern of selfishness and disregard for your children's well-being. You left without warning, stayed gone without checking in, and caused them emotional trauma. You weren't overwhelmed. You were in Maui. Not therapy. Not treatment. A resort. Then the gavel slammed. Full custody awarded to me. Visitation suspended indefinitely. A psychiatric evaluation required before Madison could even be considered for parental rights again. She gasped. She begged. But the bailiff was already moving toward her. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. I just stood up, buttoned my coat, and walked out into the cold morning air. That night, Madison sent one last message. You ruined me. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then typed back. No. You did that all by yourself. Since then, things have been better. Emma sleeps through the night now. Tyler's back in baseball. Leia drew a picture of me for her school project. She titled it Daddy the Hero Star. As for Madison? Last I heard, she's living with her mother, jobless, stuck in legal hell. Ethan? He lost everything. Job, wife, friends, credibility. Word is, he's holed up in a rundown studio somewhere, alone. Me. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. And sometimes, that's the most powerful kind of justice. A peaceful life they'll never be welcome in again.